Hello, I'm here with Aurélien Clere. He's a CTO of Dynagy company, but also a Microsoft MVP. So Aurélien, thank you for joining this podcast, new episode of the Masters podcast. And today we are going to talk about about the archiving, about the retention policy, something that is kind of new in the Microsoft world, even though we did this with our clients in the past, in the older version, because it was a must. But now Microsoft is doing this for us. So tell me, I know you tried out this tool at the very beginning. I saw you on conferences speaking about this.
Yeah.
So maybe.
I can
tell me something about it.
Good fun, thank you. It was a long story globally because the funny part is Microsoft was not really blocking some customers with FNO side on the storage part. So we were using FNO for 7 years, I think, since the beginning of FNO has been released. In the cloud, of course.
Yes.
But the cloud, you put data. Oh, and now we are 7 years after. Maybe we need to pay, like the convergence, with the CRM and Power Platform. So it was, they finally released this stuff in, I think, last year in 2023, but it was in private preview.
Correct.
They tried to build that, say, it's not working. We will pause everything and rebuild the architecture completely from scratch. So I've been part of as MVP on the product group to try it myself, even in a public preview this year, beginning of this year, 2024, and it was working, but not as much as I wanted. Really, I sent a lot of feedbacks. I was quite surprised that it was even in GA in June of this year, so in 10.040 of FNO. So I think the preview was just for 3-4 months, something like this. So quite, and I think I tried on few customers, of course, to use it because for me, storage would be very, very, very important because we are talking about money. So of course, with customers, it's we need to check like user license. User license is really important to check if we really need the license or not. Price management globally to try to reduce the global cost of ownership of the Microsoft solution. So I tried this kind of features, and finally I would say end of this year, 2024, it's somehow working. Of course, as usual, it's new, so I will suggest to try it first in a sandbox. There is some limitation as usual with Microsoft, but it's a good, I would say, an option to check if it's good enough for you. And so far, for few customers, we already finally have used it since we were quite confident that could be a good option for them. Before maybe Microsoft will say, hey, now you should pay. So we try to be as not early adopters, but we know that, I know as a CTO, it's also my responsibility to see that our customer and also to share it to the community. In fact, that's why I'm here to see, be careful of this point because it will be important stuff.
It will be important, exactly. Maybe I can share a few words how we started with this tool for archiving. Basically, we have one of the biggest customers in the world in sense of data or storage size of their Dynamics implementation. And Microsoft is already charging a lot for storage. So they said, guys, we need to do something. Of course, for them, we cleaned up everything in the system, all the cleanup routines. That's let's say the basics. We cleaned up all the custom indexes that are not in use. So, of course, it's a big task to do that. You need to first make sure that these are not important, not in use.
Performance.
Exactly, because it could be used once a month, but it's very important. But still, it wasn't enough. So we said with them, okay, guys, what we can do is maybe do something custom, like we did in the older versions, or we talked with Microsoft. This was, as you said, last year. So kind of, long time before it became available for the public preview, because this is a big customer. They have a direct link to the Fast Track team. And then they said Microsoft is building a tool, of course, that will bring the data out of Dynamics, but in 2 stages, basically. The first stage is going to the Dataverse, right? Where you still can have it back, if you need it. The second stage is going to the data lake, and there is no more going back. The whole idea is to reduce the capacity, compress the capacity of the database. But on the other hand, we have a lot of other clients which still haven't started this because they say Microsoft is not charging us for the moment. But now they say, okay, this will come here and we need to do it. So 1 year ago, or maybe more than a year ago, for us the question was whether to go to the standard Microsoft route with this tool or whether to do something custom. Nowadays, with this customer, we decided to go with the Microsoft tool, but you say it's still maybe not good. What is our problem there? They generate more transactions that we can archive in a month because you cannot archive all the time, right? You need to find some gaps where the system is not overloaded. So what is your suggestion maybe to do in that kind of situation? I know I'm pushing now with extreme example, extreme case, but trust me, many customers will face this problem. It's good to get opinion from someone like you.
For me, for this kind of customer, I think, you talk about some kind of limitation, but there are, if you go to the MS Microsoft Learn documentation, if you see the FAQ or the limitation list, it's quite long, in fact. So for me, for this kind of customer, I think the stand as of now, maybe, since maybe you will have more data than really you can really archive it. Of course, it's more simple to say, but of course, I would say more to go to a custom solution. So, and I think it could be great that someone, I don't know how to do it globally in terms of architecture, technically speaking, but I think there could be maybe other option. And the problem I see also with the archive part, like you said, is in fact a part of the data is highly compressed. So you said storage, which is a purpose, of course, of archiving. It's archiving, so you don't purge, so you still have the data somewhere. But the problem is you put something also again into Dataverse, which is the same price as so it's like, okay, let's compress it, let's put it somewhere else, but the somewhere else is part of storage which is high. So it's for me, if we build like your customer maybe a custom solution, so it could take more times to do and develop. Maybe it was more easier in AX 2012 on premise, but because here we are of course in the cloud, we don't have access to the database and blah blah blah. But here, for me, for this kind of customer, I think a custom solution could be an option. But after how to do it, and maybe you can finally push it into your even your own data lake, which in a cold storage, in which the gigabyte is 5 cents, I think, something like that per gigabyte. So not $40 per gigabyte like Dataverse. So and that was it's good that you mentioned the old versions, because we did this probably also did with your clients in the old versions. It was, as you said, easier with the direct access to the database, so SQL scripts. We did for them, and in the past, on-premise, you have limited resources in sense of hardware. That was the main limit that we had at that point. You cannot make a data copy to non-production to investigate stuff, and we said to the client, we need to archive. Now, to do this in the cloud, it's a bit more complex, but we need to think about something, unless Microsoft is bringing this to us sooner rather than later. Okay, maybe some other topic related to this archiving. So as you said, the Dataverse itself, it's still expensive, and moving the data from the production D365 Unified Operations or FNO or whatever. What is the name?
Exactly. Move it to Dataverse. It should be a bit cheaper. First of all, you need to get rid of indexes here. In Dataverse, you will not have all the indexes that you have in FNO. That's a big plus, but still it doesn't feel like enough, at least for me. What we did in the past was this Dataverse step was out of the picture, at least for me. Maybe you did it differently. It will directly go to a lake or external database or whatever. Because when you archive this data, normally it should not go back to the system. You don't need it for transactional purposes. Maybe you need it for reference, but that's you can build something on top of that. So what do you think in this tool? Now it's a bit different architecture, and
so for me, so that's also a problem of the, not a problem, but that's the reason of the convergence. So of course, Microsoft. That's why I think I don't work at Microsoft, so I don't know all the all the internal meeting. But globally, I thought that they said, but another team has already developed retention policy with not the same kind of architecture they were building in F&O side. So there is also Synapse Link, which is converging, blah blah blah. So all stuff they try to do it one time for the one Dynamics, one platform journey. So for me, the problem was, okay, F&O is not the same database, of course, as a CRM, Dataverse. So, but let's try to use the same kind of framework they have built for Dataverse. So that's why I think they have to go through Dataverse. But like you said, it's maybe not the good option, in fact. For me, if I will build it, of course, like you said, I will go straightforward directly from F&O to a lake database somewhere else, like Azure Blob Storage, to still have access to it. In fact, because for audit purpose, you should have access to it. I can do any kind of Power BI Fabric report, or have a tool that can still have access and to check records. But yes, it's and even now, I think you can't really, like you said, you can't really purge something. You store through Dataverse plus after the managed data lake of Microsoft, but you can steal the way to bring the archive data to the live data. So they do it because maybe at some point, I made a mistake, I want to re-put everything, but that's maybe not, maybe it will be 1% of the use case.
Exactly.
So why they have done this kind of architecture just for this, just this kind of scenarios where it could, I think, not happen, like you said, very often. So I hope for customers that when they archive something, they are, okay, we are sure, we have tested it in prod, in sandbox, sorry.
Yeah, in on-prod.
Yeah, we test in prod. And we go directly after where we are ready to go to really activate the job in prod when they are...
Did you ever had a scenario where you need to bring back data, archive data?
No, for me, my side, I don't know.
Of course, because as you said, it's a rare scenario.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe another case, another customer of ours, they are now in a phase of implementing D365, going from older version, but they say we need to think about archiving both 2012 and D365, in the future D365. But this is, I would say, quite mature customer in sense of IT, and they even think of building their own archiving tool for all the systems they have, not just for Dynamics. And now it's a big question that we discuss with them. Okay, which road to take? If they build on their own, maybe it will be in AWS or Google Cloud or who knows. But then, maybe this is the way to go. One platform for the company, or maybe still we need to go through the Dataverse and the data lake. It's there are options. At least my opinion is that if you have an enterprise archiving solution, you should use it regardless of your system. But if not, then what Microsoft is bringing to the market is still good enough. Yeah,
and you have the same kind of use case even for SharePoint. I have seen a lot of MVP on the SharePoint level. Hey there. I know that they also try to, there is a kind of archiving stuff in SharePoint because you have a lot of attachments. So same kind of...
It's getting expensive.
So it's quite a common thing now with the cloud because we are in cloud for several years. Now we are talking about AI a lot. But cloud after, you need to be aware of the resources you take. So including storage,
Exactly. I think now the whole point in Dynamics is storage, or let's say the whole licensing and costing is, it comes down to storage. You need to keep as low as possible on your systems, and we need to all adopt it. Clients, partners, everyone. Maybe one recommendation from our side, and of course you can put more. Before this archiving happens, we said all the standards cleanup routines should be in place, and that's no question. But what we did at other clients is also create a custom cleanup routines, even on standard tables that there is no
There is no one, in fact, sometimes.
Exactly. For custom tables as well, of course.
Yeah.
For example, we did for one customer to clean up, this was some years ago, on work tables in the advanced warehouse module. They were producing, just a lot. I mean, a lot of lines. So we created something that, of course, you need to talk with the business first to make sure that you will not delete something they need. But we were, we made sure that, okay, what we do here is fine. This is data that they don't need anymore. Maybe they use for 1 or 2 or 3 months back for some performance review, but that's it. And then we can clean it up. You do this routine, you test it, of course, and then and only then you can archive.
It's also my suggestion,
Plus one.
Plus
one.
meal.
Okay. Do you have maybe some other suggestion around the archiving?
And it could be also Microsoft suggestion. No, for me also.
Let's try.
That's right. Maybe they will hear finally. No, my main point for me or for storage part for Microsoft will be finally to say, they finally changed something for FNO that when you buy some licenses, they gave more storage than before. So thanks. We were quite heard by Microsoft finally for this point. But now the next step for me will be to say, when you create the solution, Dataverse, even FNO, there are some technical tables that you can't really clean up because it's really part of the solution globally. But why people, customers in fact, have been charged for that. It's like you create a unified environment, Dataverse side is already at 3 GB. Come on, guys. I don't create anything on my side, so why I should pay for it? You already pay the user license. That's my hope for the future. This will, or maybe not the real enterprise customer because they have tons of licenses, so it maybe, but for the ones that are, I would say with less licenses, but can be still a huge customer. When you do a lot of integration, you can buy just 20, 40 licenses. But you can have a large database because you do a lot of integration, etc. You don't have enough storage because at some point Microsoft, technically speaking, to build their solution, especially also all Copilot stuff, they have added a lot of Copilot by default now, and they are using tables to store something. And again, I pay for that even if I don't want Copilot. So it's my suggestion for the next year. On top of the archiving, like you said. If they can change this topic, it will, I think, help a lot. And I think it's quite, I guess, just my opinion, I think it's quite,
fair.
Fair, in fact, yes. So
yes, I agree on this one. So +1. You're right. You mentioned now integrations, and that comes to the next question. What happens with integration when you archive? For example, the very standard one, dual write.
Yeah.
Because you purge data, you delete data from the system. Yeah. Did you have experience in an environment where you have interfaces? What should you do? What should you not do?
Yeah.
Never?
Yes. So dual write, the archiving solution for dual write, for the standard solution of Microsoft, I think they said it's not supported, in fact. So I think they said, whoa. It will not work globally if you have any kind of dual write mapping activated. I think for us, for them,
you need to do it twice in.
Yeah, you need to do it twice
in FNO and C.
Yeah, and C. For integration, you could even if you archive, you still have access to the data. So in fact, when you use, even if you create your own custom archiving solution or you use a standard one of Microsoft, for me, you still, and it was always my conclusion when I do this kind of session, is you need to do some work after, because sometimes there's an integration. Of course, it's, I don't know, I've done a point-to-point integration or maybe star schema with a middleware, but at the end, yes, if at some point the other application, the source one at the destination level, you don't have now anymore available the data, you should have you should change, in fact, your kind of integration to, let's say, have still access to it somewhere else. So could be the data lake we mentioned before. So it's
you need to think about
you need to think about it. It's
from the architecture point.
So really, with archiving, it's not just click launch the job and
that's it. Sometimes clients just get this information probably from Microsoft that it's just one click. I have on a similar topic, which is data migration and code migration. At a client, the story was sold that there is a tool out of the box. You just need to use the tool, and you will be on
plug and play.
plug and play. But now we explain to the people at the client side that it's not so simple. There is some work around it that need to be done, and of course there are tools that makes our life easier. But it's not just, as you said, just one click. But regarding interfaces, we also need to think about it, during execution. You don't want to execute the interface, right? If you delete a lot of rows, then you need to think about this. It's like a mini project, right? You need a cutover plan, stop interfaces, do something. So this is quite important because, as you said, when you hit the button, it can create chaos. So there are some pre and post tasks.
Even also including kind of all your KPI reports, Power BI, Fabric. Since you could in fact move on the data somewhere else after the CEO, CFO, if he has a good Power BI report to see, I don't know, the turnover and margin for each year, something like that. Of course, if you store this data somewhere else, the reports still have to work.
Exactly. Exactly, and this is also a change why when you build archiving solution and when you build your business reports, you need to take into account all the data sources to one. All right, I think we covered kind of all on the archiving. I would like to thank you for being at this podcast.
Thank you.
It was pleasure talking to you and explaining to the audience what is about. This is kind of a new stuff now in the Microsoft world, and everyone should work on it. Thanks again for joining this podcast, and for everyone watching it, guys. You can always contact Aurélien or me for anything about the topic. We are happy to share, right?
Yes, exactly. Good. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank
it was a pleasure.
Thank you, and
thank you.
See you next time for some other interesting topic.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.